individuals. So what are we here to discuss this evening? We're going to be helping you understand more about what business credit is all about. Several people, fail to understand what business credit is about, and we're going to be able to make sure we give you that information. We're also going to talk about the differences between business credit and also personal credit. We're going to talk about the benefits of business credit. It's not just something that's static and something that, is great to know about, but what are the benefits of having business credit versus just having personal credit? Also, the 10 mandatory items to get business credit approval. See, business credit is something you definitely want, and we're going to tell you why here shortly. But there are 10 mandatory items that you need to make sure you can get approved for business credit. We're talking about credit where you can go out here and get things not attached to your social security number with a personal guarantee, but credit that's based off of just the strength of your EIN, okay? That's your employer identification number, if you didn't know. We're going to be talking about the exact steps and tiers of credit to apply for and when. That's also very critical as well. So you want to make sure that you stay tuned until the end. And we're also going to be talking about how to get started right away with building your business credit and how you can get money starting this week. Well, who am I and what makes me qualified to talk about this subject? Personally, I've been an entrepreneur since 2001. Now, Novae wasn't started in 2001. Novae was started in 2014, but I've been blessed and fortunate prior to 2014 to run some successful companies. In fact, became a multi-million-dollar producer by the age of 25 years old. And that's after getting started on my entrepreneurship journey at the age of 20. So within 5 years, I was able to learn a few things and be blessed to be around some great people, mentored and led by some great people, and also have some great people to be a part of my business organizations that helped me catapult to the point of millionaire status, and even didn't finish school, college in my 20s. In fact, my early 30s, I actually went back to college after retiring from college in my early 20s to actually get an industrial engineering degree. And just a few years ago, just a few months ago, early this year, I went back and I actually graduated with an MBA, a 4.0 GPA, and one of the nation's top MBA programs. So something I was very proud of, but also positioned us as a company to be much stronger, and to have, much more vision when it comes to, the proper things to do to succeed and to be able to share that information with other businesses as well. Along the way, some major recognition. In 2016, I was voted the top 10% of direct selling CEOs out of over 550 CEOs. And since 2001, I've been able to build 4 multi-million-dollar companies, featured in Who's Who in Black Atlanta for over the past decade. And as I was saying earlier, selected to be on the leadership council with the National Small Business Association that's right here out of Washington, D.C. Novae is a multi-million-dollar debt-free nationwide company. And when it comes to the consumer credit industry, you've actually helped delete over 1 million negative items from credit reports of consumers who've gotten started with our service since inception. So that's something that we were really, really excited about. Our whole goal is to educate and service millions to initiate lifestyle change in our communities. And the bottom line is, if we want to be able to change what we have to change who we are. So the whole goal with Novae is to be able to inspire people to have more out of life, to educate them on ways to get there, and to provide opportunities to make that happen. And that's something that we're super excited to be able to share with you tonight, is an opportunity for you to be able to position yourself in your business, for unlimited amounts of success that's about to come. And that's something that you got to get excited about. Tonight I'm not here to preach to you. Tonight I'm not here to, just try to motivate you. But I do believe that this information will inspire you to believe that you can win like you should be winning right now. There are other companies out there that are winning. There are other businesses that are winning. And if they can win, guess what? You can too. But you got to figure out how to play the game. That old cliche, don't hate the player, hate the game. And I don't necessarily agree with that, especially when it comes to business. Don't hate the player, but seek to understand and learn the game so you could be able to master it And what we're going to be talking about tonight is just a few parts, a few principles, and really some things, that weren't made up, but it's just really the rules of the game, things that you learn that if you follow, you'll master it, and you'll be able to be out here competing with the big boys and becoming on the forefront of your industry in terms of those who are winning. Well, what is business credit? Let's go ahead and kick this thing off. Business credit is credit that is obtained in a business name, not your name, okay? Not somebody who co-signs name, but your business name. With business credit, the business builds its own credit profile and credit score for its EIN. Now, that's something for you to understand, see, because most people, believe it or not, didn't know that their business could have its own credit profile and that the business could have its own credit score. But tonight, you're going to figure out exactly how that works. See, this credit is in the business's name and it's based on the business's ability to pay, not the business owners. So that means no matter what state you're credited in, it doesn't matter because your business is going to be able to develop a profile that's going to be strong enough to stand on its own. See, with an established credit profile and score, the business will then qualify for credit. I mean, how awesome is that? How awesome is being able to put yourself in a position where your business, based off its own strength, could be able to gain more credit to help, expand and get you in a position to take advantage of more opportunities. That's what all of us want that's in business, to be able to take advantage and leverage opportunities that are right in front of us without having to put us in a tight spot. See, the business qualifies for revolving store credit cards like Staples, Lowe's, Sam's Club, Costco, BP, Walmart, even MasterCard, Visa, American Express, and even auto financing. Imagine being able to go out here and get cars financed under your business name. People are doing it each and every day. See, at this point, the business can also qualify for credit lines and loans, all by using the business credit. Okay. Business credit is the only financial solution you can get regardless of your cash flow, regardless of your collateral or consumer credit quality. It doesn't matter about that. It doesn't matter about your credit score. It doesn't matter about some of these other things, but business credit, you can start building that even without any of the things that I just mentioned. This means any business can obtain it. Let me say that again. Any, A-N-Y, okay? Underline that, circle it, put a star beside it. So that means no matter where you are as a small business owner, no matter where you are as an entrepreneur, you can actually obtain business funding, even nonprofits. There was somebody who messaged me earlier today and they were wondering, was it going to be beneficial for them to be able to jump on this webinar because they have a nonprofit organization? Absolutely, if your nonprofit needs money. Okay, you definitely want to position yourself to build your business credit profile. Even startups, you may be thinking, Rico, well, I just got my LLC, I just got received my EIN paperwork. Can I start establishing a business credit profile? It will be in your best interest to start it right away. I even tell people, even before you get your LLC, okay, even before you figure out what your business name is, you need to put yourself in a position to start establishing business credit, some type of platform or software or coaching to be able to start establishing your business credit profile as soon as you get those other things taken care of. And a really good system will actually help you even establish those things as well. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit more. So what makes business credit so awesome? Y'all got to understand that, most businesses don't succeed because of their lack of access of resources, mainly money. Okay. If you don't have the resources, the financial resources to be able, to move through some of the tough times or to get started properly, you won't be able to make it in the world of business. I always tell people the world of business is the world of the lions, tigers, and bears. Ooh, wee. Right? It's not like getting a job. Sometimes we can be protected when we have a bad mindset, or sometimes when we're not in the right place, or, we're not necessarily creative. If you're working for somebody else, you'll still get paid if you just go to work and you're able to perform certain processes. Your possibilities of success, totally financially or freedom may not be there, but you'll still get a paycheck. Now the whole risk that entrepreneurs and small business owners take is the ability to be able to do something that may be unpredictable in terms of income, but maybe it's something they love. You'd be able to do something unpredictable in terms of income, but the ceiling is really not there in terms of the amount of income you can make, depending on what type of business you're in. If you could scale it, you can get rich beyond your wildest dreams. But the bottom line is most people don't have that type of opportunity, even though they're entrepreneurs, because they don't develop business credit. See, business credit doubles your borrowing ability. It doubles it. Okay. So that's one of the things I want you to write down if you're taking notes, because that's something to keep in mind as you move along. Because if you multiply your borrowing ability by 2, guess what also multiplies by 2? That's right, your potential, the opportunity that you have in front of you. Also, business credit makes your business more lendable. And that's something that we're going to go into as well. But I want you to be able to at least jot those 2 down. It doubles your borrowing ability and it makes your business more lendable. So let's talk about some of the benefits of business credit. Okay. You can be issued a failing score. That's a credit score for your business, even if you have no credit reporting, because you look unestablished or possibly on the verge of filing bankruptcy. Now, if you're joining me over the webinar, you're looking at some slides and you can actually see what I'm talking about as well as you're listening. But you're looking at a credit report that's pulled from a company that has no business credit. Okay, nothing has been reporting. But check this out. Their IntelliScore is a 28. They're at medium risk. But check this out. Their financial stability risk is medium to high risk. Okay. Now, this is on a score range of 1 to 100. 1 meaning that's just terrible. Okay. You're not going to get anything, obviously, and 100 meaning perfect business credit. And their scores are 28 and a 6. And they don't even have anything reporting. But when a company or a bank or a creditor, anybody's looking you up and they see 28 and 6 for these scores, you know, it looks like that you're unestablished. It looks like that you're on the verge of filing bankruptcy. And the truth may be, you may be making money. But if you don't have a business credit profile, that's what's showing up. Okay. Even one account reporting, just one, which you can get immediately after this presentation tonight. Okay. You can go from no score or a failing score to a great score. And we're talking about just one account that's reporting. And what happens at this point is you become more lendable. The whole idea here, as you grow your business and you want to become business legit, okay, you want to be able to get to a point where you have access to whatever you need to grow your business, okay, you want to be able to become lendable. And when you start building your business credit profile, that makes you become lendable. You're looking at a copy right here of somebody's screenshots of their credit report, their business credit report. They only have one item reported. That's a net 30 account. We're going to talk about net 30 accounts a little bit later. But their score went up to a 96, low risk, and a 55, low to medium risk when it comes to their IntelliScore and also their financial stability risk. Okay. That was only after they had one item reporting. The problem is most people don't know how to get one item reporting. And that can keep you in a very, very bad space. As you continue to grow your credit, the business reporting agencies recommend you for more and more money. And that's what you like to have when you're in business, especially if you got great ideas, especially if you can invest and flip $1 into 3, that puts you in a situation where you can win in a major way, helping you get higher approvals on business credit cards, loans, and lines of credit. So that's something to really, really be excited about. And I see somebody, I think, trying to ask me a question. So the great thing is if we have some time by the end of this webinar, I'll be answering questions. So you might want to write those down, type those in that little box, and I'll address those at the end. But you're going to be able to get in position as you build your business credit to get higher approvals on different types of funding. Okay. Remember, this has nothing to do with your personal credit. I was just at a franchise show this weekend. Myself, my partners, Dr. Carlton Calhoun, Haziq Ali, and also some of our staff. And we were promoting the franchise program that we have with our company. We offer people a white label franchising opportunity with our company that want to be in the consumer credit industry, the business credit industry. And it was so many people that even if they didn't want to be involved with our franchise opportunity, they still were talking to us because they needed funding. Okay, they were in business or they were trying to get in business, and they wanted to figure out how to build a business credit profile. And the main reason is because most of them didn't even know they could build a business credit profile. In fact, what we're doing right here is the only way you can legally have two credit profiles. Okay. You know, there's some people out there selling things called CPNs and selling these other types of numbers and saying, hey, you know, you can get around using your own personal social security number for credit. But there are literally people who go into jail, okay, buying CPNs. So I wouldn't recommend it. You know, there are people who certainly try it. Some people get away with it, but I would want to stay away from that if I were you, okay? Well, how do you build another credit profile from scratch and be able to start getting the money you need? We're talking about even up to millions of dollars as you develop that profile. That's your business credit profile, okay? And you can build multiple business credit profiles if you have multiple businesses with multiple EINs. So that's something to really be excited about. Well, how can you win with business credit? Let's talk about that a little bit, because you can get your business credit profile and your business credit score established fast. Well, how fast? Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but check this out. It could really, really happen. And I know that because I'm speaking from personal experience and also some of the success that we're seeing some of our clients gain. Business credit scores are only based on one factor, opposed to personal credit scores. Well, what are they based on? You know, personal credit scores are based on multiple factors, 5 factors, as a matter of fact. Okay. Business credit scores only based on one factor, and that's when the payments are made. Okay. If your payment is made on time, okay, that's what your business credit score is based off of. If your payment is made early, then that's going to be even better. Personal credit scores are based on these 5 factors: payment history, utilization. Okay. Payment history is how have you paid your bills over the course of time? Do you have late payments? Utilization is an amount of credit that you're actually utilizing. Okay, from the limits that they give you. If you have $10,000 in, revolving credit lines on your personal credit, meaning all your credit cards added up, the limit is $10,000. And if your balance is $9,000, that means your utilization is 90%. That means your credit is probably not that good right now. So you want to be able to keep your utilization below 30%. Any of you who kind of, danced around the 30% mark up to 40% or 50%, then back down to 20%. If you monitor your credit, you probably see how it goes up and goes down based on your utilization. Okay. So utilization is 30% of your credit score, while payment history is 35%. Then length of your credit history is another 15%. You know, some people talk about, well, they don't do credit. You know, you don't want to put yourself in that kind of position, because the longer you go without developing credit, the longer it's going to take for you to develop a great credit score. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to get to a point of being able to leverage the systems in our country to eventually potentially gain freedom or be in business for yourself, you want to start making sure you develop some type of credit. So credit history is very important. Also, the accumulation of new credit. You know, if you go out here, and not only applying for certain credit, but as you gain new credit, whether they're loans or whether they're credit cards or even inquiries, okay, all those things count when we talk about new credit. That's 10% of your score. And then your credit mix. You know, do you have installment loans like a car note on your credit, or a mortgage? You know, do you have revolving credit like credit cards? You know, all those types of things, credit mix that, they look at what type of credit you have, and that's 10% of your credit score. See, if you think about it, there's 5 factors that make up what your personal credit score is. And if you got 1 or 2 of those that are off, then your credit score may be pretty jacked up. The thing you got to love about business credit is all you got to remember is to pay your bills on time. And then that score is going to continue to go up. See, with business credit, we have something called a paydex score. See, with personal credit, you have something called a FICO score. Now, that's something that you need to write down, because you can sound really smart when you're talking to people, when you start explaining how this whole business credit process works. See, because with personal credit, you have a FICO score, and, that's how banks And lenders determine how much credit to extend you, because of your FICO score, and that goes up to 850. And then with business credit, you have a paydex score. So that's how these lenders are going to decide how much, and the banks are going to decide how much credit they want to extend you based on your paydex score. Well, let me give you a little information on how to achieve a great paydex score. Well, you want to pay all your bills early. So I'm going to show you how to develop business credit tonight. And I'm going to show you, after you establish these accounts, it's very important that after you receive a statement, after you receive your invoice, to go ahead and pay that bad boy right away. Okay. Why? Because if you show a healthy history of paying your bills early when it comes to your business credit, well, that'll get you close to the maximum score, which is a 100. See, a great score is an 80. If you're at 80, then that means you're pretty much, very low to no risk. Okay. 80 or above is a great score because that means your payment is showing that it's consistently prompt. Okay. A 70, that means your payments typically come 14 days after the due date. 60, 21 days after the due date. If you got a 50, you're averaging 30 days after the due date, or 40, 60 days beyond the due date, 30. If you got a 30, that's 90 days beyond due date, 20, don't worry about it. Nobody's giving you anything, okay? Because you're averaging 120 days beyond the due date. That's 3 months. Let me tell you something. If you're going to get in the business and you have bad habits, or you had bad habits when it came to paying your bills, or you had bad habits when it came to, meeting the terms on different loans or revolving credit you had, you need to be able to make sure you start monitoring that and start fixing those habits. So when you get in the business, you don't deal with the same challenges. And the great thing about business credit is after you figure out how to deal with those challenges on a personal side, and maybe you have a credit repair or credit restoration company working through getting those things off and getting you educated on what to do in the future, you can start building your business credit from scratch, and you can not have to worry about all of those mistakes you made while those are getting cleaned up. Okay, so it's important for you to understand that you got to pay on time. Once you build business credit, what does that mean? That means you have no PG. Okay. Now, if any of you been in business for a while, if any of you just started in business and you try to get a business credit card, you heard about PG. Okay. It's not parental guidance. Okay. PG means personal guarantee. Okay. You don't have to do a personal guarantee on some account types and then eventually all account types when you have a business credit score. We're going to talk more about that shortly as well. See, your initial limits range from smaller to very large in the beginning. All right. When you start developing your business credit, and I'll talk about my journey here in a little bit, because prior to us beginning to offer the business credit repair and the business credit builder, okay, and what we call our business credit finance suite, I wasn't totally educated on how business credit worked. In fact, after I started asking more and more questions to my mentors and also one of our partners who's earned tens of millions of dollars in this industry, he explained to me, what I needed to do to make sure that our company had our business credit set up properly. Even though we had earned millions of dollars as a company, our business credit profile still wasn't set up properly. And after I got that thing set up properly, I went from just getting a few accounts to where I maybe had $500 or $1,000 in credit extended to Novae LLC, up to $5,000 to $15,000, up to $25,000. And now I have a card that's revolving that has no limit whatsoever. Okay, we can actually go out and buy buildings and cars on it if we wanted to. And I'll show you that here in a little bit. But the bottom line, it ranges, but it is a process. There's steps that you have to take to be able to succeed as an entrepreneur, obviously. And there's steps that you have to take to succeed in building your business credit. Okay, now business credit is perfect for startups. Now, we're not just talking about, because obviously if you want to be able to get loans, 100 grand, 250 grand, $1 million, $5 million, there are going to be steps that you have to take. There are going to be requirements, that you have to abide by in order to get those higher caliber type loans and funding. Okay. But if you out here, you need 10,000, 25,000, 50,000, even up to 100,000 and even 150,000, there's opportunities where you can get that money. Okay, as a startup, when you start developing business credit. So that's super exciting. The thing about business credit is there's no cash flow requirements. Again, that's why startups can start developing business credit, because you may not have a lot of cash flow in the beginning, right? But if you follow the system of what I'm about to show you, you don't have to develop cash flow, because you'll be able to develop business credit anyway. Now, the reason why you want to develop business credit is, the bottom line is, it gives you a competitive advantage. If you look at companies that you may be competing with, and if all of you are kind of doing the same things, maybe some of you doing a few different things in your industry, whatever your competition is, more than likely at the end of the day, the person who has the best financial resources available to them are going to be the person who wins. You want to put yourself out front by having access to the credit and being able to leverage any opportunity when it comes, so you can stay ahead of the competition. Next, there are no collateral requirements. So, when you develop business credit, you don't have to put up your house, mortgage your house or anything like that to be able to put yourself in a position to gain access to more resources. You don't have to go out here and put the equipment that you've already paid for up as collateral when you have business credit. And the thing about it, when you get business credit, it's easier to grow your business. You don't have to be so meticulous in the decisions you make about purchases. Now, obviously, you always want to take calculated risk, but there's some things that you just need to grow your business. Like, if you don't have business credit right now and you're listening to me, if you're watching me right now, there's probably something that if you had an extra $5,000, if you had an extra $10,000, you probably know exactly what you will be getting for your business. You probably know exactly how your business could grow. You don't need to go on Shark Tank. Guess what? You just need business credit, and that's why you're here tonight. So check it out. Every highly successful business in America has business credit, okay? Every highly successful business. And I'm just going to give you a few examples to kind of show you where we're going with this and what's going on. Pilot Travel Centers, huge gas station, truck stop all across the country, 153 trade lines reporting to Experian. Publix supermarkets, okay, another huge supermarket chain. I know definitely in the Southeast. I don't know if it's around the whole country, but 171 trade lines. Okay, Dell Incorporated. Okay, Dell actually, makes computers, right? 83 trade lines. Microsoft Corporation, Bill Gates, obviously the richest man in the world several times over the course of the past few decades. 131 trade lines. Now, we're talking about a multi-billion dollar company. You may say, well, what do they need? What do they need trade lines for? What do they need credit reporting to the bureaus for? That's how they do business. So if these companies are going out here and they're getting trade lines and they're worth so much, then what should you be doing? Success leaves clues. Facebook. Obviously, the vast majority of us, every single person on the planet, okay, if they have a cell phone or, if they have friends, like if they're not living on a rock, they know what Facebook is, even if they're not an active participant in Facebook. Another multi-billion dollar company, 40 trade lines. Apple, okay, close to $1 trillion market cap, 138 trade lines. But check this out. All of us know about Walmart, right? Even if you don't order off of Walmart.com, you definitely have been to a Walmart and you probably made purchases from Walmart. And there's Walmarts in, many of them in every major city across this country and now starting to be across the world. But check this out. They have 513 trade lines. We're talking about 80% of their cash injection comes from business credit. So that means that 80% of what they purchase for their business, because obviously Walmart doesn't make all the items that's in Walmart. They obviously buy them from other businesses for a lower amount, and then they sell them for a higher amount. Okay, that's how Walmart makes money, right? Most businesses, they make money that way. But 80% of what they buy in Walmart is on credit. They don't spend any of their cash. They buy it on credit, then they sell it, then they pay the credit off, and then they made a profit. So they don't use their money. They leverage somebody else's money to be able to make their money. and they make more money. That's why Walmart is obviously one of the most successful companies in the whole world in the history of business. So that should, again, leave a clue for you. Even new business can start developing business credit as well. So that's something, and we're having trade lines report as well. So that's something that you should be very excited about. Well, how do you build business credit? I know you're saying, Rico, well, you're going through all of this. What do I need to do to start building business credit? Well, the first thing you got to do is make sure your business is set up credibly. Okay. This is what we call business credibility. Okay. And we're going to go through some of those steps here tonight. And it's important for you to be able to set yourself up with someone, if you can't do it yourself, to be able to get this done. And if you do it right the first time, you won't have to worry about going back and doing it over again. I met so many people over the course of this weekend that tried to do some of this stuff themselves, and now they had to pay one or two different people to try it again for them. And then the first or second person really didn't do it right, and they had to go. Now they're coming to us and they're saying, wow, well, your company, you're already doing this. You got software set up. You got a business advisor team in place. Now, can you help me? And if they would have started with us in the first place, they wouldn't have been out so much money. I'm not saying we're perfect, but what I can tell you is that the system that we have is proven. And so many people being able to take advantage of it and come out on the other side better than they were when they got started. But you got to make sure your business is set up credibly. There's several things that you have to do. Let's talk about those things. Number one is you have to have a business entity. Okay. See, several people out here operating as sole proprietors. And what does that mean? You don't have an EIN. Okay. You haven't registered with the Secretary of State as an LLC or incorporated. You're out here operating, a business name that's not really attached to anything. You just made it up. Okay. You can't just call yourself ABC Company and think you're developing a business identity that's legit, even though that's a name that hasn't been registered anywhere, right? So you want to be able to develop an entity by going to your Secretary of State's website and registering your business, okay? An LLC, incorporated, something like that, right? And you could do that on your Secretary of State website. So you want to go ahead and get your entity registered. Then next, you want to get a business address. Okay. Now, your business address is not your home address. That's why they call it a business address. Okay. Now, you can have your home address as a business address, but the bottom line is, as you build your business credit profile, that's not going to show up and really give you the credibility you need to be able to establish a credit profile that's separate from your personal profile, because your home address shows up on your personal credit file. So when you gain a business address, and don't get me wrong, you don't have to go out here and rent out a building or a suite somewhere, but they have several addresses that you can get that show up like a business address. That's like a virtual business address. Okay, like Da Vinci, that's one. Regis, that's another one that offer virtual addresses. They give you a suite that's attached to a physical building that they have. And that suite really doesn't exist where you can go in and sit down in it, right? But the bottom line is it can be registered as a business address. So you want to make sure you establish a business address. Next thing you want to do is get a phone number, a business phone number, not your cell phone number, but a business phone number. Because when you start registering in certain, directories, and we're going to talk about that here shortly, it'll pick up if it's a cell phone number, if it's a Google Voice number versus a legit business phone number. So you need to get a legit business phone number. Then you need to have an email address and a website. Okay. If your business is ABC Company, you don't want an email address, ABC Company 2015 19 _ 25 at gmail.com. That's not very professional. Okay. You want to make sure that you don't raise any flags. But if you do, as a new business, you want to raise the least amount of flags as possible. So you want to be able to get you a website, let's say abccompany.com. Okay. And your email address should be info@abccompany.com, support@abccompany.com, admin@abccompany.com. John, if your name is John, at abccompany.com. Now, I know a lot of y'all might be saying, Rico, well, that's common sense. Let me tell you something. Common sense ain't so common. And if you never had anybody educate you on how to build a successful business, then people need to hear these things. Even if you can't go in and build a website, pay somebody to build a website. There are several sites out there that offer very simple website building tools that may be free up to maybe $10 or $20 per month for you to have in place. So you want to make sure you go ahead and get you a professional email address, a professional website. And again, that's getting you closer to establishing the business credit that you need. Also, certain licensing. Okay, you got to look at what industry you're in. And when you're registering your business, it'll ask you about certain code. It'll show you certain codes and it'll talk about what you need to operate certain types of businesses. But make sure you get all your documentation and your licensing out the way. Okay, so when you start applying for funding based on your industry, you'll have all the things that you need so they can see that you're totally legit. You know, some industries you don't need a particular type of license. All you got to do is just have a business license if you are set up somewhere in a storefront or you have a business, or obviously, you got to be registered with your Secretary of State. But other than that, make sure you do research and figure out what licenses you need to operate your business. The next thing is your business listing congruency. Okay. Your business listing congruency is very important over all platforms that you're reporting to, and also is very important with what we call the 411 National Directory. I want you to write that down. I explained this to several individuals over the course of this weekend, and 100% of them did not know that they had to be registered with the 411 National Directory. Okay. Now that's ignorance, but let me tell you, I was ignorant because I didn't know either before I was educated on it. I went to the site and we were not even registered on the 411 directory. Don't go register on the 411 directory until you have your phone number, until you have your email address and your website, until you have the business address. Once you have all those things in place, the LLC and the information with your EIN, all those things match across the board. That's when you want to register with the 411 National Directory, and with that business listing congruency, that puts you in a position of power. Because what happens is a lot of the online applications, when it comes to business loans and business lines of credit or revolving credit or anything like that, even some of these net accounts, when you enter your information, it's going to scrub your information against the 411 National Directory. And if you're not registered in that National Directory, then you're not seen as lendable, and it's going to kick you back as denied. Now that's when you're trying to get everything under your EIN. That's when you're trying to get everything separate from your social security number. So it's important that you have your business address, your business name, your business phone number, ownership information, even your website and email, all that information as the same on all the platforms going across the board. When you apply for something, make sure you apply for whatever application you're on with the information that's congruent across all these platforms. Y'all got to understand, I'm giving you some free game here, okay? And for those of you who don't understand what game is, that's information that's putting you in the best position to leverage the situation to get the result that you're looking for. Okay, so you got to understand that this is some information that you're not just going to learn anywhere. I'm giving it to you for free. Now we can help you get through this whole thing, but if you want to go do it yourself, I'm giving it to you so you can go do it yourself. It may take you a lot more time, but hey, if that's the route you want to take. The next thing is you need your EIN. I talked about that earlier. That's your employer identification number. You get an EIN by going to irs.gov, and there's some you could click on. It's probably say apply for an EIN somewhere, but this is where you get that number. That's the same digits as your social security number, except it's the number for your business, and it separates you and your business. What commences that whole separation is your articles of organization that you get when you register for the Secretary of State. Okay. And you become that LLC or you're incorporated, you become a corporation. and you separate yourself. That's very, very important, especially if you're operating a business that could present some liabilities and you don't want to get sued. Somebody can sue your company, but they can't sue you in that respect if that liability happens within your company. Okay, well, they can sue you, but the bottom line is you can protect yourself better if you're a separate entity. And if you're building business credit, you got to become a separate entity. So you're doing everything the right way right now. The next thing you want to do is get a business bank account. Okay, you want to open that up. Why is that important? Because you're in business. Okay, hopefully you want to make money. Okay, and you want that money going into a bank account. It's very important that you have a bank account established and they start showing some history, because when you start applying for merchant accounts and things of that nature, you have to have a bank account in place because they're going to ask you for bank statements and things of that nature. So go ahead and get that established early, even before you start making money. Okay. The next thing you want to do, step number 2, after we go ahead and build our business credibility, okay, we're going to get set up with business credit reporting agencies. That's what CRA is, business credit reporting agencies, and get your reports. All right, we're going to see if you have anything on them. See, some of you right now have business credit scores and you don't even know it. Okay. And the bottom line is, if you have one, it's probably very low. Okay. If you have not been following these steps, your business credit score is probably low, but you want to go ahead and get these reports. This is step number 2. Step number 1, we went through the 10 things that you must do, the mandatory things to be able to build your business credibility. Okay. Now, step number 2 is getting your business credit reports, so we can see what they look like. Okay. You can run a search with each credit reporting agency to see if you're set up now. All right. You can go to their sites, Equifax, Experian, Dun & Bradstreet. Those are the major credit reporting agencies, okay, for business. All right. Not the regular Experian.com, because obviously that's a credit reporting agency for consumer credit. You want to go to the business site, not Equifax.com, because they are also obviously one of the main 3 consumer credit agencies. You want to go to the business site. And then Dun & Bradstreet, of course, is a business credit reporting agency. Each report can contain up to 5 different credit scores. Now, don't let that intimidate you. Don't get upset about it, because the bottom line is, they have little scales and they'll tell you what's bad and also what's good. And then, hopefully you fall somewhere in between, and we try to work your way up to excellent. Okay. Step number 3 is you want to get approved for vendor credit. All right. So make sure you write down these steps. Okay. Don't just be on here listening to me and you're not where you want to be in business. You want to make sure you're taking some notes so you can succeed. Because I'm telling you, man, the people who really succeed and change their lives are the people that start doing something they really didn't do before. The people to make a decision that they're going to start writing things down and they're going to start creating a game plan to win. Okay. And that's what we're talking about here tonight. There's no reason why I would be on this webinar with you right here tonight if I wasn't intentional about helping you all win. If I wasn't intentional about winning myself. That's the thing about our company, is we believe that we're blessed to be blessings to other people. But what we also believe is that when you help other people win and that helps you win, you can sleep better at night, right? There's fulfillment attached to that. So make sure you're not just taking this information for granted, but you're taking notes so you can really get what you want to receive in this life. Okay. Step number 3, get approved for vendor credit. There are certain tiers that you have to go through in order for you to be able to get to a point of getting what we call cash credit, being able to get an American Express card, or bank loans or credit lines. You got to start somewhere. It's a process. The reason why most people fail, they go ahead and go through all their business credibility and they think, man, I'm going to set up on a 411 listing, a national listing now. I'm going to go ahead and go out here and get me a Amex, okay, a platinum. I'm going to go ahead and apply for this MasterCard or Visa or whatever the case may be, or I'm going to apply for this loan under my business name. And then they get discouraged after denial, after denial, after denial, after denial, because there's steps to this thing. Okay. Like Meek Mill said, there's levels. Okay. Meek Mills is a rapper, by the way. So get approved for vendor credit Well, what is vendor credit? Okay, vendors, okay, businesses offer net terms. You probably heard net 10, net 15, net 30, okay? What this means is that's how many days you have to fulfill that invoice after you make the purchase, okay? After you make that purchase and they shoot out that invoice, most of the time it's via email, and also they'll send it through the mail. They'll tell you got X amount of days to pay the invoice. That's what the net means, okay? Net means, the days after the invoice is actually generated. 97% of trade vendors do not report to the business reporting agencies, okay? So make sure you heard what I said with that, okay? Because I gave you step number 2, which was get approved for vendor credit. But it doesn't matter if you're getting approved for vendor credit if the vendors are not reporting to the credit reporting agencies, okay? That's what we call hustling backwards. That's another metaphor, okay? That means you're going nowhere fast. You're not accomplishing your goals in the amount of time that you sought out to accomplish your goals. That's what hustling backwards means, okay? So you want to make sure that you stay on track to succeed by being able to find vendors who do report to the credit reporting agencies and who will approve you even though you have no established credit. Okay? So make sure you listen to that, because you'll go out here and you try to do this thing yourself. You'll get frustrated and you'll start saying, man, this doesn't work. That guy told me that this would work, but it doesn't work. No, it worked, but you just didn't work it the right way. Because there's several people that try to do this, and what they do, they end up getting frustrated and they quit trying to get credit under their EIN, and they just go to the PG, which is personal guarantee. Maybe we should have a quiz after this to see if all of y'all remembering this stuff that I'm talking about. But check this out. You got to have 5 of these accounts reporting before you can get to the revolving store credit. Now, remember what I said? You got the tiers. And in order for you to get to the top, the pinnacle, in order for you to go out here and just get business credit that's not attached to your personal social security number, you got to successfully get through all the tiers, and you got to have a certain amount of accounts in each tier. Okay. So we said you got to go ahead and get at least 5 of these accounts reporting before you can get to the revolving store credit. All right. So next is you want to step number 3 is you must start a business credit profile and score with starter vendors. Okay. Starter vendors are ones who will give you initial credit even if you have no credit score, no trade lines. Most stores like Staples will not give you initial starter credit, so don't even try to apply. Okay, that's another note. Don't do Staples in the beginning, okay, because you will get denied. Okay, so the vendor credit are vendors like Quill. They offer office supplies. So if you have an office, and I'm not just talking about a building or a suite somewhere, but also a home office. If you own a business, that's what you want to work towards, having an office. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be a room. For example, my first office was a kitchen table. I didn't even have a laptop. Okay. I had an old telephone that I got from my grandmother. And in fact, the kitchen table that I had was an old kitchen table that I got from Granny. Okay. And I just had, some paper and, a little inbox. I was proud of my little kitchen table. That was my space for my office. That's where I started. And I started buying a few office supplies. I had some tape. I had a stapler. Okay. Eventually I was able to get a laptop. Okay. And I had a little holster for my pencils and pens. See, never despise small beginnings. I don't care if you start working in your living room. You got to be able to see your executive office from wherever you start. Now I have a whole office. I employ people, and I have cubicles for my employees. I have offices for my executives. I have a conference room. I have a lobby and a reception area. I have flat screen TVs in my office. I got a studio area in my office. I got a kitchen with a kitchen table in my office. But guess what? I started at a kitchen table. Man, I hope y'all feeling what I'm saying right now. You got to get excited about the fact it doesn't matter where you start, baby. It matters how you finish. And I'm still going. So what does that mean for you? You got to get excited about the fact of knowing that you're hooking up with people who's going to help you get to where you need to be. Because most people never get to the destination because they're riding and running with the wrong people. Oh my goodness, this is getting good. Let me get back on track. I digress. So Uline, okay, does shipping supplies. All right, so Quill does office supplies. So even if you're at your kitchen table, you can get a Quill account and order some paper, order a stapler, order some staples, order some paper towels, okay? And that reports to Dun & Bradstreet. Get your invoice paid off. Uline, shipping supplies. That's where you want to get your tape from. Buy your small pack of boxes or bags or something, okay? Granger, so that there's several vendor accounts that you can get that report to these credit reporting agencies that's going to help you start establishing your credit profile. I just gave you 3 that you can get right now, even if you decide to do business with us or not. But remember, you need 5. Okay. So step number 3 was go ahead and get this vendor credit. But check this out. There are 2 alternatives to using vendor accounts. If you're a person that want to get on the fast track and you say, hey, man, shoot, I need some more vendor accounts. But the bottom line is, I want to get on the fast track. First alternative is a Novae business credit finance suite. We're going to talk a little bit more about that shortly, but that's one option. So write that down, put a star beside it. The second option is what we call UBF. Okay, UBF stands for unsecured business financing. We have relationships with over 1,200 banks, alternative lenders is what we call them. And you got approvals up to $150,000. Okay. And there's several different ways that we can get you that funding depending on your situation. And a lot of this funding is anywhere from 0% financing for 6 to 18 months. So that's a beautiful thing. And also the thing I love about that, and I want y'all to catch this because a lot of people don't catch this. If you're in business and you're doing business and you have credit cards where you got a personal guarantee, and even though they're business credit cards, they're probably showing up on your personal credit report. It will be in your best interest to make sure you can get some business credit cards or business lines of credit that don't show up on your personal credit report, which is where the UBFs, what we use, they don't show up on your personal credit report. So when you get these accounts and you have 0% financing for 6 to 18 months, that means you can do a balance transfer. And you do those balance transfers from the business accounts or even the personal credit card accounts that you have, and you transfer those over to these business credit cards where you're not paying any interest for 6 to 18 months. What also happens is your utilization on your personal credit cards go down to 0. That means that your credit score on the personal side shoots up, even though if the utilization on your business cards near 100%, it doesn't matter because all they look at is if you pay on time. Y'all can't tell me this ain't good information. Like if you hear this for the first time, you got to understand this is life changing. It's life changing. See, because that little hack that I just gave you can send your personal credit score up 100, 150 points. That puts you in a position to leverage all other kind of money, not only on the personal side, but now since your personal credit goes up, that also allows you to leverage more business credit right away with the UBF because it is a PG. Initially because you don't have business credit. So this works for startups. Okay, no cash flow or collateral requirements. We're usually able to get people, pretty much guaranteed the funding and approved if you got a minimum of a 685 credit score. Okay, 685 credit score. Okay, now that's around a median, but we really would like the lowest credit score you have out of the 3 with TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian to be 685, and your utilization to be under 30%. You can pretty much be guaranteed funding at that point unless there's something other, some extreme circumstances that we're not aware of. But even if you're not at that level and you got somebody that can guarantee, be like a co-signer on the loans that is in that situation, then guess what? We can fast track this thing for you, baby. All right. So NovaeFundingApp.com, we're going to make that available, for you individuals here tonight that want to be able to apply. and see if you can fast track this thing. But those are the requirements. So if you're not at 685, don't even waste your time right now trying to get UBF, because it's not going to happen. So if you're not minimum 685, don't even go to the website. So let's keep it moving. Step number 4. Now you got 5 trade lines reporting from the vendor credit. Now what we got to do, we got to get them to at least report to one credit reporting agency. Then what we got to start doing is get you applying for some revolving store credit. All right. So like I have, Uline, we order stuff for shipping from Uline at our office. We have Quail, we have Granger, we have a few other vendor credits as well. But you also want to get to the point that you are developing your revolving store credit. This is credit from places like Amazon, Best Buy, Staples, and Office Depot. I keep a few cards in my wallet. Like you see, this right here is a Office Depot card. Okay, store purchasing card. Okay, got a little number on it. Novae LLC. Hopefully, you didn't see my number. You're gonna go use it. But anyway, it's also asked for some other information, so you can. But you need 5 starter vendor accounts first before you start getting approved for the revolving store cards. Some of these companies have a time in business requirement. So it's important that you know that before you apply for the cards. All right. In the Novae business credit finance suite, they actually tell you all of that. They tell you which ones you actually need to have a certain time in business. This is another reason not to go from, the credit to secure your 5 starter vendor accounts. Okay. So make sure we get the 5 vendor accounts first. All right. So after you get those 5 vendor accounts, then and you get 10 revolving store credit accounts, then you can apply for what we call fleet credit. Fleet credit is to buy, repair, and maintain vehicles. These come from companies like Chevron, QT, and BP. Okay. So for example, I'll cover up my number on this one. So this is a Quick Trip Fleet Plus card. See my name down there? See Novae LLC. Okay. So you want to be able to get you some fleet credit. All right. So after you establish your vendor accounts, you establish your revolving store accounts, then you want to start establishing your fleet accounts. Okay. That's tier 3. Now, moving on to step number 6, be responsible with fleet credit, and you can move on to cash credit. This is Visa, MasterCard, Amex. We have all of those cards, with our business credit. And if you have a $10,000 limit with a store, you can get the same credit limit in cash credit. All right. So you want to keep your social security numbers off these applications so they pull your business credit reports instead. Okay. If you have questions once you get to that point, it's very important that if you see them requiring your social security number on the application, most times they'll have a little small print that'll actually say, hey, we're not going to pull your personal credit. This is, for federal regulations to make sure we know who the owner of the business is for identity purposes. That's the only reason you would put in your social security number. If they don't have small print like that, you just want to call the risk department or whoever processes the applications. Most times they have that right there online, and let them know you want to apply for that particular credit or for that particular loan under your EIN and not your social security number. You just want to make sure of that so you won't get any additional inquiries on your personal credit, and also so you can keep this separate. Therefore, obviously, again, like I said, you're going to use your EIN to apply. I was talking to you earlier about the card that we have that has no limit. Okay. This is American Express Business Platinum card. Okay. It's very cool because it's like really heavy. It's almost like, steel, but the bottom line is able to get this card and it has no limit on it. And it's under our business name with no personal guarantee from myself. So that's something that, should be exciting for you to get to a point to get a card like that, because it has no limit and it gives you the ability to build your business successfully and have access to the funds that you need. So if a startup can show legitimacy, it helps the lender feel comfortable about lending. Building business credit is a specific process, and we went through that here this evening. It's a very, very specific process. And the bottom line is your startup is your dream. So it might begin on your kitchen table and then eventually turn into a multinational corporation. And we can help. If I can go from a kitchen table in a 1-bedroom apartment with hardly any furniture. I mean, when I got moved into that apartment, I was sleeping on a futon, and the futon was also served as the living room chair for the sofa for everyone who came over. So you imagine that. I just had to make sure I got a double cover over it, after people left to actually sleep on. But I went from that to living a really decent lifestyle at this point in my life, and being able to travel the world and things of that nature, and work exclusively for myself. My wife also works for the company as well. My son just went to college, and he was working for our company before he left to go to college. And now my daughter's 9 years old. We're about to start training her. As a matter of fact, we're already training her on a few things to do in the office, and we have other people in our business as well that are family in there are tied to it. And we believe, in running after whatever our dream is, and we encourage you to do the same. And the bottom line is we can help. So let's talk about step number 7. And this is the last and final step. And this step is all about taking action. Okay. And when I talk about taking action, that means you probably got on this webinar for a reason here tonight, and the bottom line is you thinking about that reason right now, and you saying, hey, let's go ahead and move forward. But most people want to know, well, before I do anything, how long will this take? That's a common question. How long will this take? Well, if you decide to go ahead and get started with our process and get enrolled with us, we're going to match you up one of our business advisors within 24 to 48 hours of you getting started. So this is not a process that you're going to have to go on alone. Okay. We're going to match you up with somebody who's a professional, somebody who's an expert, and somebody who's going to listen to your desires and your goals and put you on track to win in a major way. And the thing is, the value exchange is, they don't get paid unless you win. Okay. We don't get paid unless you win. So that's something that should encourage you, because if you lose, we lose. Okay. If you lose, they lose. If you lose, everybody loses. And you best believe we're on a winning team. Next, net 30 or less accounts approved starting this week. Once you get started, we're going to start right away on tier 1 and get those knocked out. And you can go ahead and get those approved even tomorrow after you get started and you get into your portal. 60 days or less to get cash funding or unsecured lines of credit. We're talking about less than 2 months. And that's even, if your business credit profile is not built yet, because we even have ways where you can leverage your personal credit initially while your business credit is being built to get you the funds that you need, to build your business. Even if your personal credit is not where you need it to be, we're going to help you with that as well. So that's something else exciting for you to think about. Speaking of building your business credit profile, it can really be fully built out within 3 to 6 months. Okay. And we're talking about minimum. I mean, obviously, well, Rico, why can't it be less than 3 months? Because after we get these items added to your profile, they need to be reporting to the business credit bureaus. Okay. Or what we call the, business credit reporting agencies. Okay. So, it's going to take 30 to 45 days, sometimes 60, depending on when it's submitted, so if you act in a timely manner with the information that we give you, it can be done pretty quickly, and pretty quickly is within that 3 to 6 month time window. And if you take longer, then the process will just take longer. But we're going to continue to work with you until you gain the success that you're looking for. So what's the true value of what we have? Because before I get into, the amount of investment that it's going to take for you to be able to get this process started and get your business credit and get the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars in funding you're looking for, what's the value of it? We offer debt elimination software and budgeting tool that comes a part of this package. And the thing about it, for a couple of $100, you'll see that the value of it is much more than that. But we'll just use that number. Free access to experienced smart business monitoring data. Okay, so what we're doing now is adding up all the things that you're going to get once you get started, and you're going to see how incredibly valuable our program and our software is to help you get to where you need to be. Because you're going to get access to this Experian Smart Business Monitoring, so you'll be able to monitor your business credit report with Experian. That's a $600 value. Also, a free DUNS number, okay, and Dun & Bradstreet credit profile activation. Okay, that's an annual fee of $800. That's going to be taken care of once you get enrolled with our company. In addition to that, personal credit repair. Okay, we don't like to call it credit repair necessarily, because we're educating you on your credit and we're helping restore the scores that you deserve. So we really call it credit education and restoration. But if your personal credit score is not where you necessarily want it to be, we're going to work on that for you for a year. And that's a value of $800. Also, direct access to lending sources in specific tiers. That's something else that's really priceless. We just value this at a $1,200 price tag. That's like $100 a month, but man, if you think about it, it would probably spend you several months trying to figure out what lenders or what companies or vendors to apply for in the certain tiers. So it's really priceless, but we just put a $1,200 price tag on that. Personal business coaching and advisement. This is also something else that's priceless. You could be stuck on one section for several months. You could just quit. You could just do nothing at all because you're so frustrated with the process and not knowing what to do. But we have a business advisor team that's going to be helping you, that are experts, and it's going to be coaching you through the process. You can literally speak with them every day if you wanted to. Okay, Monday through Friday, okay, within business hours. But that's something to get excited about, right there. And again, that could be priceless, but we value that at $2,400. Also, our business credit finance suite. Everything that I went through here tonight with those different steps, those are all lined out for you in our business credit finance suite. It's an online portal where you have access to each and every one of those steps. And it's going through and showing you exactly what to do and how to do it. And what I mean by how, not only content that you're reading, but there are videos that actually say, hey, do this. After you do this, do this. You're able to check those off, finish up all of your business credibility, and then start getting into the credit monitoring services, making sure you get registered for those. And those are turned on. You have access, getting your Dun & Bradstreet information set up, and then getting started with the tiers. Okay. Once you get started with tier 1, we're not only showing you what vendors, but we're also showing you what exactly you need to qualify for those vendors. What vendors would approve you right away. You go ahead and get set up on those vendors, and then the next tier opening up. In fact, we don't even allow you to apply in tier 2, tier 3, or tier 4 until you finish and complete tier 1. So that's something else to get excited about. But you have vendors in all those tiers, and even direct access to lenders, that's offering all kind of financing, from equipment financing to hard money loans, to people that want to go in and leverage their 401ks, equipment. I mean, there's just unlimited amounts of financing that you have access to. Also, business credit repair. That's another $2,500 value. Some people have, a business credit score they don't know is messed up because maybe they made some mistakes in the past. They need somebody to repair that. All right, we're going to be doing that for you as well. If you add up the value of just all these items that I talked about, that's over $11,000 in value. But our system through Novae is only $24.95. No, not $24.95, $2,495. Now, if you look at everything that I just talked about, and if you add up what you have to pay, if you kind of separated those things out here in the marketplace, you got to see how this is really a minimal amount to be able to get your business where you need to be to start succeeding. And that $11,000 amount that I place the true value on this system is really minimal compared to what it really should be, especially when you start talking about getting business coaching and advisement, where you can reach out to people on an everyday basis. So let's talk about how to take action tonight, okay? Because you got 3 options, and I'm going to go through each of those 3 options, and one of those options will even show up here for you. Option A is if, you're saying that, hey, well, I can't move forward, with the financial investment, but I really need to get on track to get where I need to be with my business. And let me tell you something. The thing that you got to do if you want to succeed is take can't out of your vocabulary. Okay. You got to start doing that tonight. Let me tell you something. One of the things I learned early on in business, and I even have to teach my kids this, is when something comes up and you don't know how to do it, what you got to do is figure it out. Don't make an excuse about how you can't do it. Don't get depressed. Don't get mad. Don't sit around here and be angry at the world and everybody else because you feel like you stuck. No, what you got to do is figure it out. Okay. So I don't want anybody to take option A, but this is an option for you, especially if you got more than a 685 credit score and you want to see if you can be able to go ahead, and get approved. Okay. That's by going to novafundingapp.com and be able to put in your information, and we'll get with the finance officers and see, if we'll be able to get you approved for anything with where you are right now. But you still need to build your business credit profile. That's the only way to be able to get your business to a point of being able to get the capital that you need, not attached to your social security number. Option B is our business credit finance suite and the credit profile builder. That we were talking about. All those steps that we talked about earlier, each and every one of them, you're going to be able to get completed through our business credit finance suite. Okay. And you're going to be able to have access, to the coaching and to the professional advisors that's going to be contacting you on a weekly basis. And you can even call them on a daily basis if you need to figure out what you need to do to fast track this process. Typically, that's $2,495. That was the price of this system before this webinar, and that will be the price of this system after this webinar. Okay. Some of you, all of you who are on this webinar tonight, even if you're on the phone lines, you won't be able to take advantage, of this if you're on the phone lines, unless you go to actually, you're not on the webinar. So you have to call into our office tomorrow. We're going to give you 18 hours to be able to take advantage of a $500 off special. Okay. $500 off. So instead of it being $24.95, because you took time out of your schedule to be on here tonight, it's only going to be $500 off. And I'm only going to do that for the first 10 people. Okay. For the first 10 people, they get started, because I also put out offer on social media that the first 10 people that were doing this, I was going to personally also be working with them to make sure that they could gain the success that they needed and answer any questions on the front end with what they had going on with their business. Okay. So you can go ahead and take advantage of that, right away. All right. And so it's important for everybody to go ahead, and get started to be able to take advantage of that. Okay. Next is option C, and that's a payment plan. Okay. So if you don't necessarily have the funds, the $19.95 to get started right away. Okay. Tonight, there are two payment plan options. All right. The payment plan options are a 3-month payment plan where you can get started for $897 tonight, and then 2 additional months of $897. That's $897. Okay. So after your second payment, you will get access to the system. All right. You got to make at least 2 payments on a 3-month payment plan to get access to the system, but at least you get the process started. So I would recommend getting with the person who referred you to this tonight, so you can go ahead and get that information. The second payment plan is a 6-month payment plan. The 6-month payment plan is $500 per month for 6 months. Okay. You don't get access to the system until 3 months in. That's until you make 3 payments, and then you get access to the system. The great thing about the payment plans, though, is we start on your personal credit repair, or the credit education and restoration, when you make your first payment. Okay. We also give you access to the debt elimination software and the budgeting tool as well. Just after your first 2 payments on the 3-month plan, or your first 3 payments on the 6-month plan, you won't get access into those points to the actual credit finance suite. Okay. A business credit finance suite where you're able to start on your business credit profile. But I'm telling you right now, it only makes sense, really, to be honest with you, to go ahead and take advantage of this offer that you see right here on the screen for $1995, because you got $500 off. And it says, use the code when you're enrolling, but you got $500 off And that's only $2,000 versus the 3-month payment plan adds so to be about $2,700, and a 6-month payment plan adds so to be about $3,000. But let me tell you something: you only can do what you can do, and I would recommend that you do what it takes to get started, so you can make sure you get your business on track to win, so you can win in your life. And the bottom line is, we look forward in helping you reach your business goals. Each and every person that's on this line here tonight, whether you're on this conference call line or whether you're on the webinar line, you got dreams, okay? You got hopes, you got ambitions, and also you got a game plan. And no one should tell you that your plan is not viable. No one should tell you that your plan is not going to work, right? If you believe in it and you have faith, and you work hard, and you surround yourself with knowledgeable people that can help you get to where you want to be, you best believe you can win. There's no way I would be where I am right now. There's no way my partners wouldn't be where they are right now. And other people who are connected to us, they wouldn't be where they are right now if it weren't for people in their corner that taught them how to win and that wanted them to win. And if you're listening to me right now, we have some more information to share with you that we're going to help you. And I tell you right now, we want you to win. So with that being said, I would like to welcome you to Novae and your future that's waiting on you. God bless. Good night. Thanks for joining us. And again, you got 18 hours to take advantage of this offer. So hopefully you get started. And I look forward to speaking with you very soon. God bless and good night.